Millionaire left a bag at a motel. The cleaner who opened it uncovered a secret that changed her life. The Desert Rose Motel had seen better days, probably sometime in the 1970s. Now, in 2024, it stood like a forgotten relic along Route 40. In Arizona, its pink neon sign flickering weakly against the harsh desert sun. Maria Santos had been cleaning these same 12 rooms for 3 years, and she knew every stain, every creaky floorboard, every story these walls could tell. At 42, Maria had perfected the art of invisible efficiency. She moved through the rooms like a ghost, changing sheets, scrubbing toilets, and emptying trash cans while the world passed by on the highway outside. Her weathered hands told the story of decades spent cleaning other people's messes, while her quiet dignity kept her dreams locked safely away. Room 7 checked out early, called Jimmy, the day manager, from behind the front desk. His voice carried the permanent rasp of a 2-pack-a-day habit. Guest left around 4 a.m., paid cash for 3 nights but only stayed 1. Maria nodded, grabbing her cart loaded with fresh linens and cleaning supplies. Room 7 was always her last stop. Somehow it felt heavier than the others. Maybe because it faced the empty lot where tumbleweeds gathered like forgotten memories. The key turned with its familiar resistance. As Maria pushed open the door, she was struck by how untouched everything appeared. The bed was made military-precise corners that spoke of old habits. The towels hung exactly as she'd left them. Even the complimentary soap remained unwrapped, but something was different. On the small table by the window sat a black leather duffel bag, partially hidden behind the heavy curtains. Maria paused, her trained eye scanning the room. In 3 years of cleaning, she'd found everything from wedding rings to drug paraphernalia, but guests rarely left behind luggage. "Hello?" she called softly, checking the bathroom and closet. Empty. Maria approached the bag carefully. It was expensive real leather, not the synthetic stuff sold at discount stores. Her fingers traced the brass buckles, noting how they gleamed. Despite their obvious age, the leather itself bore the subtle patina of quality that only came from craftsmanship and time. According to motel policy, abandoned items were held for 30 days before disposal. But something about this bag felt different, important, personal. She lifted it, surprisingly heavy, and noticed a small tear in the side seam. Through the gap, she could see the corner of what looked like documents, and was that cash. Maria glanced toward the door, her heart beginning to race. The ethical part of her brain, the part shaped by her grandmother's lessons about honesty and hard work, told her to report the bag immediately. But another voice, one that had grown stronger with each month of watching her savings account remain stubbornly empty, whispered something else entirely. Her daughter Sophia was starting college in the fall. The scholarship covered tuition, but there were still books, housing, living expenses. Maria had been working double shifts at the motel and weekend shifts at the local diner, but the numbers never seemed to add up right. With trembling fingers, she opened the bag. Inside, neatly organized, were stacks of $100 bills held together with rubber bands. More money than Maria had ever seen in one place. Her breath caught as she tried to count 50,000, 100,000. The bills felt crisp and real beneath her fingers, but it wasn't just money. Beneath the cash lay a manila folder containing documents that made Maria's hands shake as she read. Property deeds, stock certificates, and what appeared to be multiple passports, all bearing the same photograph but different names. The man in the photos was distinguished looking, probably in his 60s, with silver hair and intelligent eyes that seemed to be hiding secrets. At the bottom of the folder was a handwritten letter on expensive stationery. "If you're reading this, I'm either dead or have finally disappeared successfully. My name is Theodore Harrison, or at least, that's the name I've been using for the past 15 years. The money in this bag is yours now, but it comes with a responsibility. The real fortune isn't here, it's hidden in a place where no one Would think to look. Find Eleanor Patterson in Phoenix. She has a key to a safety deposit box at First National Bank. Tell her the desert remembers everything. She understand. Trust no one else with this information. The people who've been hunting me won't hesitate to hurt anyone they believe has information about my whereabouts. Use the money wisely, but know that there's much more, if you're brave enough to claim it. Theodore Harrison, aka Marcus Webb, aka David Sullivan. Maria sank into the room's single chair, the letter trembling in her hands. This wasn't just abandoned luggage. This was someone's entire life, reduced to a bag and a cryptic message. And now it was her responsibility. Through the window, she could see the endless stretch of desert, its silence broken only by the occasional truck rumbling past on the highway. Somewhere out there was a woman named Eleanor Patterson, who held the key to something much bigger than the cash in this bag. Maria thought about Sophia, about college tuition, about the dreams she'd put on hold for so long that she'd almost forgotten they existed. Then she thought about the warning in the letter about dangerous people who wouldn't hesitate to hurt anyone who got in their way. She looked at the money again. $50,000 would change everything for her family. But the letter suggested there was more potentially life-changing wealth. The question was, how far was she willing to go to claim it? As if in response to her internal struggle, her phone buzzed with a text from Sophia. "Mom, the dorm deposit is due next week. I know. Money's tight, but maybe we can work something out with the school." Maria closed her eyes and made her decision. She carefully returned everything to the bag, zipped it closed, and walked to the front desk where Jimmy was watching a baseball game on a small TV. "Did the guest in room 7 leave any contact information?" she asked, keeping her voice casual. Jimmy glanced up, annoyed at being interrupted during a crucial at-bat. "Cash customer. No ID required, no questions asked. That's the beauty of the Desert Rose, we mind our own business." "Right," Maria said. "I'll finish cleaning the room." Back in room 7, Maria sat on the bed and stared at the bag. She had two choices: turn it in and return to her life of quiet struggle, or take the first step into a mystery that could either save her family or destroy everything she'd worked for. She thought about her grandmother, who had crossed the border with nothing but determination and the clothes on her back. She thought about Sophia, brilliant and deserving of every opportunity. She thought about herself 42 years old and invisible to the world. Maybe it was time to change that. Maria picked up the bag and walked out of room 7, locking the door behind her. For the first time in years, she didn't know what tomorrow would bring, and for the first time in years, that felt like possibility instead of fear. Phoenix blazed under the afternoon sun as Maria drove her 15-year-old Honda through streets she'd never seen before. The GPS on her phone guided her toward an address she'd found online for Eleanor Patterson, a woman who, according to Maria's research, lived in an upscale neighborhood that might as well have been on another planet. The past week had been the longest of Maria's life. She'd called in sick to work, claiming food poisoning, while she grappled with the weight of the secret now hidden in her bedroom closet. Every knock at the door made her heart race. Every stranger in the motel lobby made her wonder if they were looking for Theodore Harrison's bag. But it was Sophia's excitement about college that finally pushed Maria over the edge. Her daughter had been accepted into Arizona State University's engineering program, a dream that seemed financially impossible. Until now. The money in the bag could pay for everything: tuition, books, housing, even a small emergency fund. But the letter's promise of more haunted Maria's dreams. She'd spent hours researching Theodore Harrison online, finding traces of a successful businessman who'd apparently vanished 3 years ago. Marcus Webb and David Sullivan, the other names. From the passports yielded similar stories of successful men who disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Either Theodore Harrison was a master of multiple identities, or Maria had stumbled into something far more complex than a simple case of abandoned luggage. The neighborhood where Eleanor Patterson lived was a testament to quiet wealth. Adobe. Houses with manicured desert gardens lined streets where every car looked like it had been purchased within the last 5 years. Maria's Honda, with its rattling air conditioner and sun-faded paint, felt conspicuous among the luxury vehicles. Eleanor Patterson's house sat at the end of a cul-de-sac, a sprawling ranch-style home with a circular driveway and enough security. Cameras to make Maria nervous. She parked across the street and studied the house, wondering if she was making the biggest mistake of her life. The woman who answered the door was not what Maria had expected. Instead of the elderly society matron she'd imagined, Eleanor Patterson appeared to be in her 50s, with steel gray hair pulled back in a practical ponytail and eyes that seemed to see everything. She wore gardening gloves and had dirt under her fingernails, evidence of a morning spent tending to the impressive succulent garden visible from the driveway. "Can I help you?" Eleanor asked, her voice carrying a slight accent that Maria couldn't place. Maria's carefully rehearsed speech deserted her. Standing face to face with this woman, the magnitude of what she was doing hit her like a physical blow. She was potentially involving an innocent person in something dangerous, something she didn't fully understand herself. I have a message for you," Maria finally managed. From Theodore Harrison. The change in Eleanor's expression was immediate and dramatic. The polite mask of a suburban homeowner fell away, replaced by something sharp and alert. Her eyes darted past Maria to scan the street, then returned to fix on Maria's face with uncomfortable intensity. "Who are you?" Eleanor asked quietly. "My name is Maria Santos. I work at the Desert Rose Motel, and Mr. Harrison left something behind. He said I should tell you the desert remembers everything." Eleanor's intake of breath was sharp enough to be audible. She stepped back, gesturing for Maria to enter quickly. The interior of the house was a study in elegant simplicity, whitewashed. Walls, comfortable furniture, and artwork that suggested both taste and money. But what caught Maria's attention were the packed boxes stacked in the hallway, and the general sense that someone was preparing to leave quickly. "You're in danger," Eleanor said without preamble. "The moment you opened that bag, you became a target. How much do you know?" Maria's mouth went dry. "I know there's money, documents with different names, and something about a safety deposit box. I know he's been running from people who want to hurt him." Eleanor moved to the window, peering through blinds at the street outside. Theodore Harrison isn't just running from people, he's running from his past. 15 years ago, he was part of a group that discovered something that certain powerful individuals would kill to keep secret. When he tried to expose it, they destroyed his life, forced him into hiding. "What kind of secret?" Maria asked, though part of her wasn't sure she wanted to know. "Evidence of massive financial fraud. Money laundering on a scale that would bring down governments. Theodore managed to secure proof before he disappeared, but he's been too afraid to use it. The money in that bag? It's nothing compared to what's in the safety deposit box, not just cash, but documents that could expose one of the largest criminal conspiracies in modern history." Maria felt the room spinning slightly. This was so far beyond her experience that she struggled to process the information. Why didn't he just go to the FBI? Eleanor's laugh was bitter. "Because some of the people involved are the FBI. You're dealing with corruption at this level. Traditional law enforcement isn't an option. Theodore's been trying to find a way to expose the truth without getting himself or innocent people killed." The implications hit Maria like a freight train. "So by coming here, I've put myself and my family in danger." "Potentially, yes. But you've also given us an opportunity we haven't had in 15 years. Eleanor turned from the window to face Maria directly. Theodore left specific instructions about what to do if something happened to him. The key to the safety deposit. Boxes here, but it requires two people to access the contents, myself and whoever found the bag. He was hoping it would be someone outside the system, someone clean. Maria thought about Sophia, about the simple life they'd built together, about the dreams that had seemed so impossible just a week ago. What if I just want to take the money and disappear? What if I don't want to be part of exposing anything? Eleanor's expression softened with something that might have been sympathy. That's your choice. The money in the bag is yours. Theodore meant for whoever found it to keep it. But you should know that without the evidence in that safety deposit box, the people responsible for destroying Theodore's life will continue to destroy others. And they'll never stop looking for that evidence. So I'm in danger either way? I'm afraid so. But if we can expose the truth, we can end this. Not just for Theodore, but for everyone they've hurt over the years. Maria sat down heavily in one of Eleanor's comfortable chairs, the weight of the decision pressing down on her shoulders. Outside, Phoenix continued its daily routine, unaware that two women were discussing the kind of conspiracy that most people only read about in thriller novels. If I agree to this, Maria said slowly, what happens to my daughter? What happens to my family? Eleanor was quiet for a long moment. If we succeed, they'll be safe. The evidence Theodore collected doesn't just expose the conspiracy. It provides enough leverage to ensure everyone involved leaves innocent people alone. If we fail, she left the sentence unfinished. Maria thought about her grandmother, who had risked everything for the chance at a better life. She thought about Sophia, brilliant and trusting, who deserved a world where the truth mattered more than power. She thought about herself, invisible for so long that she'd almost forgotten. She had a choice in how her story ended. What do we need to do? She asked. Eleanor smiled for the first time since Maria had arrived, an expression that transformed her entire face. We need to get to that safety deposit box before anyone realizes you found me. And then we need to decide how to use what we find to make the world a little more just. As they began planning their next move, Maria realized that she was no longer the invisible motel cleaner who had discovered a mysterious bag. She was part of something larger. Now something dangerous but important. The money that had seemed like such a blessing might turn out to be the least valuable thing Theodore Harrison had left behind. But for the first time in years, Maria Santos felt truly alive. The desert outside Phoenix continued its ancient silence, keeping its secrets while two women prepared to uncover truths that powerful people had killed to protect. In a few hours, they would learn whether justice was worth the risk and whether sometimes the most ordinary people were exactly what the world needed to expose. Extraordinary corruption. The key to everything waited in a bank vault downtown. And Maria Santos was about to discover that sometimes the biggest secrets are hidden in the most ordinary places, waiting for someone brave enough to unlock them.
Thank you for watching this story unfold with us here on M&A The Story Unfolds. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new tale. We'd love to know where you're watching. Leave a comment below and tell us what part of the world you're joining us from. Your support means everything. See you in the next story.